I was at a mastermind event, and this was some of the best advice that I've ever heard. The people that I look up to are uniquely skilled. They're doing things that no one else is. I'm gonna share 4 wise tips that you can steal. I met Aaron Pennington at Carrot Camp, which is an event hosted by Trevor Mock, and she taught me how to work leads better than anyone else. Aaron's whole ethos is that every seller she talks to should have the best experience that they can possibly have, and that means going above and beyond. So she does some super actionable, simple stuff that 99.9% of investors are too lazy to do. One of those things being every single person she talks to gets a thank you card for taking the time to talk to her. Handwritten by her, dropped in the mail. In an industry where it doesn't take very many transactions to make a lot of money, you think that we would try really hard to make people feel special, but I'm guilty of not doing some of the stuff she does. Aaron will even go so far as to, like, if she hears a dog bark, send them dog treats. With cost per lead being $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 as an investor, what's an extra $15, $20 if it results in a conversion? Even 1 out of every 10 or 20 times. One of the other things I picked up from Aaron is she loves using chatbots on their website. The reason for that, it gives people an instant way to go back and forth. There's tools that you can do this now with AI. Back in the day, we used to use something called Talk To. It's like TAWK.to, has an app on your phone that it would ping, and you could basically text back and forth with sellers in real time. Aaron is one of those people that you meet and you realize really how fortunate her employer is to have her. I would totally poach her if she was poachable, but she absolutely loves where she works and she's not going anywhere. You can basically sum up Aaron's whole thing in user experience or seller experience. How can we make this person feel loved or special, like they're a human being and not just like a number? 99.9999% of investors are not doing the kind of stuff that they're doing. One of the things we've historically looked at is how can we provide that experience, particularly through speed to lead. I know as a consumer myself, if I call a business and they don't answer the phone live, I'm a little annoyed. All right, I'm gonna call one of your competitors. One of the things we've done for years is what we call instant calls. So we're set up with tech on our website where when somebody fills out a form, we can instantly call that info and connect the call to one of our reps. Transparently though, we noticed we weren't actually doing it for some of our service-based businesses. So it's something we recently implemented at Ballpoint, and we actually saw our lead to appointment ratio skyrocket. We've always done it in our real estate company, but we forgot about it in one of our other companies. Something else I've been thinking about along kind of the same vein is speed to market or speed to mail. If a listing expires, I'm most likely to convert that lead if I get in front of them almost immediately. But I feel like so often we mail when we feel like it or when it's time for the schedule versus when something happens. Both Deal Machine and PropStream have some sort of a list builder or list automator feature where you can get pinged anytime somebody meets new conditions. I think even just using something like that would give you a huge leg up. For this second one, I'm actually going to be your expert and share a couple things that I've taught in CCF over the years that most investors aren't doing, and it doesn't really cost you any more money. One of the biggest complaints I hear from investors in 2025 is that their marketing isn't as effective, or their cost per lead or cost per acquisition is going up, but they're continuing to do things the way that they've always done them. One of the things that I'm constantly asking is how can I be more creative or more memorable in my marketing? How can I stand out amongst the sea of competitors? One of my clients, Steve Ulig, is actually pretty good at this. We've had him on the YouTube channel. They do 1.5 million a year, and one of the things they do is custom postcards that rotate through different local imagery with different copy every single month. I would look at the marketing you're sending and ask, does this honestly stand out in just the sea of mail that somebody pulls out of their mailbox? One of the other ways to get a better than average response is, can we offer something that's different? For years, the focus was cash offer because that was unique, but then that started to mean low offer. So we started to focus on instead no realtor commissions. Well, what could be the next thing you could offer that nobody's offering yet? One story I've heard on this, no clue if it's true or not, was a investor that was sending mail to landlords that was tenants giving you a headache, I'll buy your house. And he was including in it an aspirin. but supposedly it was getting crushed in the USPS sorting system and it looked like he was mailing anthrax or drugs. So use a little bit of wisdom with what you decide to do. One of the things that we do in Sold Fast is a custom design for our brand, but for the market. My pieces in Vegas look very different than my pieces in Nashville or down in New Orleans. And you'd better believe they look different than mail that any of my competitors in those markets are sending. I met Carlos Sayas and Jason McTeague actually through my brother Justin back when he was running his deal podcast. These guys have done way more deals than me. I want to say they quoted something in the couple thousand working for a large national wholesaler down in the Southeast. They've since branched out for themselves and done hundreds of deals together. These guys are experts in clarity on tracking where their deals are coming from. I think most businesses have a problem of not being able to track where their customers are coming from, so they don't really know how to scale up or where to focus their efforts. We've all heard the expression that 80% of your business is going to come from 20% of those efforts, but it's hard to focus on that 20% if you don't know where that actually is. A relatively simple thing to implement would be using Resimply's list stacker to tag what list you marketed to with what kind of piece you sent and when it went out. That way, when that lead comes in, you know what likely generated that conversion. Pay-per-click vendors, for instance, are notoriously guilty of this, particularly if you put your website or any branding on your mail pieces. They'll try to take credit for your direct mail deals because the person Googled your company and filled out the form on your website. One of the things that I see, over 50% of my direct mail deals get tagged as website because they got a piece of mail, checked us out online, and either called that phone number or filled out the web form. When I know that that seller got a piece of mail 2 days before they called, it's much more likely that they were a direct mail deal versus a random pay-per-click lead. On the kind of clarity and tracking, I think we also want to touch on proper expectations. I was recently interviewing a vendor to do some Facebook ads for us, and I asked super specific questions to make sure A, I would have good tracking, and B, my expectations were correct. Initially, their plan was to drive all of the cold traffic to my homepage. I was like, hey, that doesn't really work for me. I want you to use a specific landing page that you create. What should I expect that landing page to convert at? What should my typical cost per lead be? And on average, for your guys' clients, how many leads are you seeing it take to get to a deal? Just that way I know if this is working or needs more attention. One piece of wisdom you guys didn't ask for, but I'll give you. Anytime you hire somebody to do marketing for you, whether that's ballpoint marketing or like the Facebook ads vendor I was looking at, you want to communicate with these people early and often, as well as set super clear expectations. Your business will succeed more if the companies you trust are thoroughly informed by you on what's going on, if things are working or not, if you need more attention, or if things are going great. Paul Myers, who runs Myers House Buyers, has over 500 5-star reviews for his We Buy Houses company. He's at 795 now. I don't know about you, but that's quite a bit more than I've been able to get. He came and spoke for our community CCF, and one of the actionable takeaways he gave is that he'll go and present for RIAs or other investment groups, and all he asks for in return is, hey, if you found this helpful, will you guys just go give me some Google reviews? I'm trying to get up over blank. Now, it is important when you ask for reviews from an integrity standpoint and according to the FCC that you don't ask people to like lie or pretend they were a seller you worked with, but there's nothing wrong with getting like character references of, hey, Paul came and spoke for our group and was a fantastic guy. So who do you know in your market? What local RIAs can you present at where you can ask for something similar? Hey, I can teach on blank. This is all I'm asking for in return. I don't have anything to sell you. I was recently on a one-on-one call with some guys in CCF talking about what they were doing and what they could potentially do better. And frankly, they had a fantastic start to the year. Their first year in this new venture, they were at 500K in top line and looking to double down. One of the pieces of advice that I gave is to really focus on that social proof, not just on the Google reviews side, but even on the content that they're putting out. I don't really view myself as much of like an influencer, but the only influencer-y advice I'm going to give you is when you're putting content out, you should be asking yourself, who is this for? And what action am I hoping that they take having sat through it. We call this like avatar work, but I literally think through, okay, if a seller's going to get this piece of mail, who are they? How old are they? Do they have kids? Are they retired? What action am I hoping they take? Am I hoping it feels hopeful? Am I calling out a pain point? Like, what is my desired outcome here? So many of us run house buying companies that the average seller assumes should be buying and fixing houses, yet there's zero content on our socials, or what is there is all stock images. I expect to see things like crews working, demo happening. I want to see like the sexy HGTV stuff. So to recap actionable tips, take your calls live, send people a thank you card, consider doing something like a small gift, get to your leads as fast as possible, or have us set up that integration for you. When it comes to your marketing, be super creative. Try to send something that stands out, that nobody else has, that builds familiarity. If you want to do it with us in Sold Fast, just slide into my email. From Carlos and Jason, when it comes to your marketing, look at where your deals are actually coming from. Look at where your appointments are actually coming from and double down on what's working. And get reviews like Paul. Who are you in front of that you can get reviews from, and how can you build your online brand social proof so that you look super legit? What I'm finding is it takes more effort and more intentionality in order to be successful, but you don't have to do anything crazy or creepy or excessive. You just have to show people that you care and run a tight ship. My name was Ryan Dossey. Hopefully you learned at least one thing you can take and implement from today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next time.